A good chef's knife needs to do 3 things. It needs to cut through all sorts of ingredients with ease, have a good, comfortable handle, and stay sharp. And it's even better if they don't cost an arm and a leg, which some of them can.
You can spend a ton of money on a good chef's knife, Julie. You know that. We have recommended Old Faithful, which is the Victorinox Swiss Army chef's knife, for decades now. This is a fabulous knife, but there are always new knives on the market, so we retest it frequently, which is what we're doing here. We have this lineup of 10 chef's knives. We set a price cap of $75 because, as you mentioned, we don't want to spend too much money. All the blades are about 8 inches long, which is a super useful length for us. They're all stainless steel or stain resistant. At the very beginning and then again at the end of the testing, we used an industrial sharpness testing machine to test the sharpness. We also had a squad of testers who had varying hand strengths and dominances. They sliced tomatoes, they diced onions, they minced parsley and garlic, they broke down whole chickens, and they prepped and diced hard butternut squash.
Ooh, that's a tough one.
There are a couple of factors that go into sharpness. Very important is the blade geometry, and that is the blade at the very bottom gets ground down to the cutting edge. And if you have a narrow blade geometry, something like 12 or 13 degrees, that can help a knife feel super sharp. The range for our knives here was 13 to 16 degrees, and testers were surprised that some of the knives at the wider end of that range felt super sharp. I want you to try your copy of Old Faithful there while we talk about sharpness. Slice a tomato, see what you think.
Oh, I know this knife very well. Ooh,
it's almost like those knives are connected to our hands. It's an extension of our arm.
There's no muscle involved. And usually you can do some pretty fine work if you want to. Yep.
Very nice.
Yeah.
So, you know, one of the things that made this knife as sharp as it is was not, in fact, the blade geometry, because it was at the wider end of the spectrum. It was how the blade was sharpened and honed at the factory, which was news to us. It has to be really well sharpened, really well honed. When testers took a super close look at the cutting edge, it was very smooth, very even. Give this one a try, just as a point of comparison.
Well, they look like the same thickness from above.
Yeah, they kind of do.
All right, let's see. Oh, no, I have to use... I mean, I'm still able to cut the tomato just fine. Of course. But I'm really having to put a lot more hand power behind it. And if I had a lot of cutting to do, that would eventually make my hand a little tired.
I mean, you're definitely getting through the tomato, but it's really more about the journey than the destination, because as you say, this one probably just doesn't feel as sharp.
Yeah, and actually, I have to really push, if I want to get a thin slice, I have to really push down on the tomatoes, which squeezes out all the juice. Yeah. No,
yeah, and that doesn't have to do with the cutting angle. It has to do with how it was sharpened and honed at the factory.
Interesting.
So there are a couple of other factors that testers look for in a knife. One is all of these knives have a little bit of curvature to the blade. That's so that you can rock them and mince through parsley or garlic or something like that.
Right.
Testers liked a gentler curve, like the one in your hand, to something like this, which is more dramatic. Ooh. You can see how sharply that curves up towards the end.
Kind of looks cool.
Yeah, I mean, it looks great, but they thought that it felt awkward.
It's like a rocking horse.
Yeah, it's like a rocking horse.
I like having a firm edge.
So another factor to look for is height of the blade, especially towards the heel by the handle. Again, Old Faithful. Wrap your hand around the handle.
Yeah.
Plenty of space for your knuckles.
Right.
Try this one.
Oh, this is my biggest pet peeve. Yeah, my knuckles can hit the board before the knife blade.
So testers were looking for a 2-inch height at the heel. The last thing is how thick the blade is and how it tapers from the heel towards the tip. Thicker blades felt a little clumsier. They preferred thinner blades. They preferred thicker at the heel, so if you're cutting through a chicken bone or something tough, you can get through it with a little more authority, but a taper towards the tips. They also liked a spine that was a little rounded, so that if you're choking up on the knife and you're gripping it really hard, you're not gripping into a sharp edge on the spine of the knife.
Yep.
The handle, obviously very important. You know, a softer material, a little more rubbery, a little more grippy, no weird swoops or shapes in the handle was preferred.
Yeah, because this stays firm in your hand, even if your hands get a little slick. This one stands out to me because it's rounded, which looks cool, but no, it's a spinner. It would spin around in your hand if your hands were a little wet or slippery.
Yeah, it's a hard material. It's comfortable as long as your hands aren't slippery, and then it gets a little dangerous, a little dicey. Julia, try and contain your shock when you hear this. Old Faithful won again.
Not surprising.
This is the knife. This is the Victorinox Swiss Army Fibrox Pro 8-inch chef's knife. It's terrific. It's got a well-proportioned blade that stays nice and sharp. The handle is comfortable for all kinds of users. We still recommend that knife highly. It's $38, so it's a bargain. I will say it's on the light side. It weighs around 6 ounces. Some testers preferred a slightly heavier knife, and there was a heavier knife that kept up with Old Faithful. This is the Mercer Culinary Renaissance 8-inch forged chef knife. It weighs about 8 ounces, so here, try that.
May I?
Yeah.
Oh, we did, yeah.
It was nice and sharp, but it gives you a little more heft. And the price was right on this one, too. It's just $31.
Interesting, Adam. Thank you.
My pleasure.
So there you have it. If you're in the market for a new chef's knife and want to spend less than $75, there are 2 to check out. The first is a Victorinox Swiss Army Fibrox Pro 8-inch chef knife at about $38. And the other one, which is a little bit heavier, is the Mercer Culinary Renaissance 8-inch forged chef's knife at about $31.
At Cooks Illustrated, we're food nerds. That's why every recipe we develop involves research, cooking science, and rigorous testing by our team of expert test cooks before being tested by our dedicated community of 40,000 home cooks. Only the highest rated recipes earn a place in our award-winning magazine. Every issue features our latest recipes and discoveries, cooking tips, and equipment and ingredient reviews. Our step-by-step photos and hand-drawn illustrations show you exactly how to succeed. What you won't see, even a single page of advertising. We've worked for home cooks like you for over 30 years. So, are you ready to become the best cook you know? Subscribe to Cooks Illustrated magazine at cooksillustrated.com today.
We hope you enjoyed this video as much as we enjoyed making it.
Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel.
And if you're ready to take your cooking to the next level, head over to americastestkitchen.com and get a free all-access trial membership.
While you're there, you can sign up for our free email newsletters and download our app.
With unlimited access to over 14,000 of our test kitchen recipes and 8,000 product reviews, you'll have everything you need to cook and learn.
So I ask, what are you waiting for?
Let's make something great together.